Welcome to another episode of the Echoes of Eir.
So today we're looking at the story of Bress.
Bress, okay.
Yeah, so specifically his birth and his early life.
Oh, interesting. So kind of exploring some of the lesser-known figures in Irish mythology.
Yeah, and the thing I like about this source in particular is that it focuses on these smaller stories. And
Yeah.
I feel like those can sometimes be more revealing.
Oh, absolutely. They're those little glimpses into the culture that you don't always get from the big epic tales.
Exactly. So let's set the scene a little bit for this story.
Right.
We are in ancient Ireland,
Okay.
land of magic, gods, and these powerful beings
Huh.
called the Tuatha Dé Danann.
The Tuatha Dé Danann, now they were a pretty formidable force, weren't they?
Oh yeah, very powerful. And they ruled this land.
Right. I always imagine them kind of shrouded in mist and mystery. That rolling green hills of Ireland.
Definitely.
Yeah, beautiful imagery.
So we have this woman, Eriu,
Are you?
of the Tuatha Dé Danann, and she's at her dwelling, and she's looking out at the sea,
Okay.
and it's very calm, unusually calm.
Unusually calm, interesting.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden, she sees this ship
Oh,
that appears, and it's magnificent.
okay.
It's made of silver.
Wow, a silver ship.
Yeah, I know, right?
That's pretty impressive.
And it's gliding across the water effortlessly, and there's only one figure on board.
Now I'm intrigued.
I know, me too.
Yeah.
So what's going through Aria's mind at this point?
Well, I mean, if I saw a silver ship just appear out of nowhere with a lone, mysterious figure on board, I
Okay.
think I'd be a little bit apprehensive, maybe even a little scared.
Yeah, I think so too, because, the Tuatha Dé Danann, they're very protective of their land.
Exactly. They're not exactly known for welcoming strangers with open arms.
So this lone figure, he gets closer,
Okay.
and he's described as having goldy hair,
Golden hair, all right.
pecked out in gold and silver, and he's carrying silver spears.
Chloral silver spear.
Yeah.
This guy sounds like he's making a statement.
He really is. It's quite an entrance,
Yeah, talk about a grand arrival.
right? The source really emphasizes the visuals here. Like, you can almost see the sunlight glinting off the silver.
I was just imagining that the silver spears against his golden hair.
Yeah.
It's very striking.
Very striking, and silver in Irish mythology is often associated with the other world.
Oh, that's right. The realm of magic and mystery.
Exactly. So right from the start, you get the sense that this stranger is not just some ordinary guy.
No, he's definitely something special.
So the ship gets closer and closer.
So what does Ario do?
She doesn't flee,
Okay.
doesn't call for help.
Yeah.
Instead, she kind of captivated by this stranger.
She's drawn to him.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And he steps ashore.
And let's just say the text doesn't shy away from the details.
Things get a little steamy.
Let's just say their encounter leads to a prophecy.
He promises her that their child will be exceptionally beautiful and destined for greatness.
They name him Eochaid Bress, Eochaid the Beautiful, and everything beautiful in Ireland will be compared to him. Okay, so he's laying it on thick.
He is, but there's just one small problem.
What's that?
She doesn't even know his name.
Oh, right. That might be a bit of an issue.
Yeah, you think. So he finally reveals his identity.
Okay, drumroll, please.
He is Ilitha, king of the Fomorians.
Elipha, king of the Fomorians. Now that changes things.
It does, doesn't it?
The Fomorians weren't exactly known for being friendly with the Tuatha Dé Danann,
No, they were often depicted as chaotic and monstrous beings.
associated with darkness and the forces of nature.
Yeah, they were kind of the rivals, or even enemies of the Tuatha Dé Danann.
So, isn't just a personal matter anymore, is it?
Definitely not. It has huge political implications.
It's like a union between two opposing forces, a blurring of the lines between light and darkness.
And before he departs, as mysteriously as he arrived, he gives her a magical ring.
A magical ring.
A magical ring.
Now that sounds important.
Oh, it is.
Is there any more to it than just a simple token of his love?
Well, he instructs her to give it only to someone whose finger it fits.
Okay, so it's like a key,
Yeah, a key or a symbol of their connection.
a link to their future child.
Exactly.
Breast, the child of two worlds.
Yeah, destined for greatness, but also caught in the middle of this ancient rivalry.
I can't wait to see how this unfolds.
Me neither. And that's where we'll pick up in part 2 of our deep dive.
Welcome back. So last time we left off with Bress, he's this remarkable child, grows super fast. By the age of 7, he looks 14.
Wow, that's fast. It's like the story is hinting at a certain impatience, maybe even a rush toward power.
Right, and now he's reached an age where, you could see him potentially leading.
Okay, so how does he actually become king?
Well, the Tuatha Dé Danann, they're in a bit of a bind at this point.
Oh, why is it?
Their previous king, Nuada,
Yeah.
he lost his hand in battle.
Oh, no.
And, according to their laws, a king had to be physically whole.
So they need a new leader?
They do, and they need one who can embody their ideals, strength, wisdom, all of that.
But they're also in the middle of this whole rivalry with the Fomorians.
Right. Tensions are high.
So how does Bressa fit into all of this?
Well, he's young,
Yeah.
but he's also strong, charismatic, and he has this, vigor of youth.
I could see how that would be appealing.
Plus, he's half Tuatha Dé Danann.
Right, so they see him as a potential unifier.
Yeah, someone who could bridge the gap between the two races.
So they make him king?
They do. They're hoping he'll usher in a new era of prosperity.
Makes it, there's this sense of hope surrounding him, right?
Definitely.
Like maybe he can bring peace.
It's a lot of pressure for a young king.
It is, but as we know, things don't always go according to plan.
Right, and Bressa's reign, it doesn't quite live up to those expectations.
So what happens?
Well, he starts to show favoritism towards his Fomorian relatives.
Oh, so those family ties start to influence his decisions.
They do. He allows them to impose heavy tributes on the Tuatha Dé Danann.
So he's basically exploiting his own people.
That's not a good look.
Definitely not. How do the Tuatha Dé Danann feel about this?
They're not happy about it at all.
I can imagine.
In fact, there's this story about Dagda.
Dagda, the powerful warrior and druid.
That's the one during Bressa's reign Dagda is forced into hard labor.
Oh no.
Yeah, can you believe it? They make him build Bressa's fortress.
That's a huge insult.
It is, and they only give him a tiny bit of food for his work, like a small cake and a little milk.
So they're not even treating him with basic respect.
Nope, and this goes against everything the Tuatha Dé Danann believe in.
Hospitality, generosity.
All of that Bress is basically throwing their values out the window.
So even Dagda is subjected to this mistreatment.
No one is spared from Bress's neglect.
This is creating a lot of tension.
It is, and it all kind of boils over with this one event.
Okay, what happens?
Have you ever heard of the first satire ever uttered in Ireland?
The first satire. No, tell me more.
So this poet named Quapre,
Cooperative, okay.
he goes to visit Bress's dwelling expecting, the usual hospitality.
Right, a king should welcome guests with open arms.
Exactly, but instead of a feast and a warm welcome,
Yeah.
Quapre finds himself in this tiny, dark hut.
A hut? Are you serious?
Yeah, no fire, no comfortable seating, just this really bleak atmosphere.
It's a far cry from what a king's dwelling should be.
And to make matters worse, all they offer him is 3 hard, dry cakes.
Oh, wow, that's just insulting.
Right, so Quapre, he's not happy about this.
I bet.
And he decides to express his displeasure through satire.
So this is the origin of satire in Ireland.
According to this source, it is.
That's incredible. What does he say?
He basically calls out Bress for his stinginess and the horrible state of his dwelling.
He's basically publicly shaming him.
Yeah, and it's a huge deal because it gives a voice to all the discontent that's been brewing.
It's like a turning point in the story.
It is, and from here, things are going to escalate pretty quickly.
All right, so Bress has been called out big time for not really living up to the whole being a generous king thing.
Yeah, that satire really hit him where it hurts.
So what do the Tuatha Dé Danann do?
Well, they decide they've had enough.
They're not going to just let this slide?
Nope, they confront him head on.
Wow, this is getting intense.
It is, they basically tell him, look, you haven't kept your promises.
His promises, like when he became king?
Exactly. Remember, he probably made all these guarantees to the Tuatha Dé Danann.
To uphold their laws and customs, protect their interests, all that.
Right, and by favoring his Fomorian relatives and being so stingy,
Yeah.
he's broken those promises.
So they're holding him accountable.
They demand that he step down as king.
Wow, they're not messing around.
Nope, they're serious. But Bress,
Yeah.
he's not ready to give up that easily.
So he sets off on this journey to find his father, Ilitha.
Right, he's trying to connect with his heritage.
The part of him that he's kind of ignored up until now.
Exactly, and this journey leads him back to his mother, Eriu.
Ah, Eriu, the one with the magical ring.
That ring, it becomes really important here.
Why is that?
Well, Bress, when he gets to the Fomorians,
Yeah.
they don't recognize him as one of their own.
They're like, who are you?
Pretty much so, he needs proof.
And that's where the ring comes in.
Exactly. His mother gives him the ring, and it's like a seal of authenticity.
Like a family heirloom or something.
Yeah, as soon as Eletha sees it, he knows that Bress is his son.
It's like a key that unlocks his heritage.
And it's a powerful moment for Bress.
After being rejected by the Tuatha Dé Danann, he finally finds acceptance.
But this acceptance, it comes at a price.
What do you mean?
By embracing his Fomorian side, he's setting himself on a path that will lead to conflict.
Oh, so the stage is set for a big showdown between the Tuatha De Danann and the Fomorians.
Exactly, and Bress, he's caught right in the middle.
This whole story, it's a reminder that identity can be complicated.
Yeah, sometimes you have to navigate different parts of yourself.
And find your place in a world that doesn't always offer easy answers. So the ring becomes a key to his past and potentially his future.
Precisely. And it sets the stage for a dramatic shift in the narrative, because Bress doesn't just come back to Ireland alone. He returns with a massive Fomorian army, ready to reclaim his rule by force if necessary.
Hold on. This beautiful king, the standard of beauty for all of Ireland, is bringing back an army of monsters.
You said it. And that contrast is what makes Bress's story so compelling.
It really raises questions about appearances versus reality. Is beauty only skin deep? What happens when someone who looks like a leader acts like a tyrant?
Exactly, and that's where things get really interesting. The tension is definitely building. We've got this massive Fomorian army ready to invade, led by Bress, who, well, he seems determined to take back his throne, no matter the cost.
And so, we leave Bress, a king undone by his pride, cast out and seeking revenge. His fall from power sets the stage for a conflict that will shake the foundations of the Tuatha De Danann.
But before the Second Battle of Moytura begins, there are other figures whose stories demand to be told. The Dagda, the great father of the gods. Lugh, the many-skilled champion. And others who will shape the outcome of this legendary conflict.
In the episodes to come, we'll delve into their lives, their deeds, and the roles they play in the build-up to this epic clash. Each of them holds a piece of the puzzle, and together, their stories form the heart of this saga.
Thank you for joining us on this episode of The Echoes of Are. If you're enjoying the journey, be sure to follow the podcast and share it with others who love diving into the myths and legends of Ireland.
We'll see you next time as we continue unraveling the tale of the gods and heroes of the Tuatha De Danann. Until then, may the echoes of Ireland's past guide your path.